Laura. I work at Head for the Cure along with Kelsey and Courtney and some other wonderful people that are on this call. I'm our programs and development coordinator, so I handle Brains for the Cure, which is our online patient navigator and caregiver navigator, as well as working with our ambassadors, which Lisa and Jenny both are some of our lovely ambassadors. And then development, handling some of our fundraisers that are outside of our 5K events. So hopefully everyone saw the different posts and everything that we were doing for Brain Tumor Awareness Month. It was the month of May, but just excited for this second meeting. Our first one went really well, so I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say.
Perfect. Thank you, Laura. Next up, Regional Relationship Coordinator, Maddie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie. I'm Regional Relationship Coordinator from Head for the Cure. If you're in my markets, it would be Wichita, Des Moines, Omaha, Chicago, Columbus, and Detroit. So I'm kind of all over the place over the Midwest. So if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Perfect. Thanks, Maddie. Another Regional Relationship Coordinator, Allie. She's the newest team member to Head for the Cure.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, my name is Allie, and I have been with Head for the Cure since February, and I will be taking over the markets of Seattle, Cleveland, NC Triangle, Mid-Missouri, Orlando, and Charleston, and I'm excited for our second meeting and just to get to see everyone and meet new faces.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you. Cheryl?
I'm Cheryl. I am office administrator at Head for the Cure, so I work with all these fun, exciting people. I didn't have any ties to brain cancer. Forewarning, I have 2 cats and they may decide that they need to make an appearance. But I was just looking for a nonprofit that I love what they did and totally believed in, and I found my home. So this is where I am. I handle a lot of the inquiries, the phone calls, the messages, and then I work with the memorials too. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Cheryl. Brian?
Hi, everyone. I do analytics for Head for the Cure. So I get to work with the data and a nice cross-section between the regional relationship coordinators and your individual markets, as well as Laura and the programs development side. And this is going on my 5th year work on staff for Head for the Cure. Locally here, I've participated in Kansas City events, I think since 2006. So big fan of Head for the Cure, and thank everyone for joining tonight.
Perfect. Thank you, Brian. Kaylin?
Hi, everyone. My name's Kaylin, and I am the event logistics coordinator. So I kind of handle all of the back end of all the events. So usually this stuff you guys probably don't think about when you're at the events. So, you know, dumpster, porta potty, permits, venues, all that kind of fun stuff. And then I also do all of our graphic design. So any of the posters, medals, t-shirts, merchandise, anything like that.
Perfect. Thanks, Kaylin. We've got Frida from our team as well. Hi, Frida, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes,
I'm
Frida Schrader. I'm in the finance department at Head for the Cure, and I've been there since like 2012. I worked with Matt previously at VML. I was CFO there at VML, and after I retired for a few years, he just asked if I wanted to come work for a very few hours, and those few hours have turned into more. And I actually have 2 other people that work with me, and I don't know if they're on here tonight or not, but Stephen Anthony and Cindy Tsumi make up our finance team.
Perfect. Thank you, Frida. And then we're lucky enough to have one of our board members on here tonight. So Mario, if you want to say a few words. Oh, Mario, I think you're on mute.
Hi, Mario Lichtenstein. I'm one of the board members. I lost my middle son to brain cancer 17 years ago. We started a foundation called Voices Against Brain Cancer. Met Matt many years ago, and since the beginning it was a love affair, and we said to each other that we were going to work together. and that's what we're doing. So basically, Voices joined Head for the Cure, and just doing big things. We brought a few events and a few other things to the foundation, and I welcome you all. Thank you for number one. Thank you for the team. Actually, thank you for the volunteers first, and thank you for the team. So let's go on.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Now I'm just going to go through and call you out at random for you to introduce yourself and say hi. So Rhonda, if you want to go first.
Hi, I'm Rhonda DeFries, Team Rhonda's Racers. I've done races in Kansas City, Orlando, Columbus, and Omaha. Had teams there over the last 2 years, I guess, based on where my family is. I think I participated, this will be my 10th race, and I'm a 19-year survivor of a grade 3 anaplastic astrocytoma.
Okay, thank you, Rhonda. Sam?
I'm in Seattle I'm captain of Dane Damage.
Sorry, what did I have out? Sorry, I was cutting some image.
Okay.
So I'm captain of the team here, Dane Bramage, and I'm a 21-year GBM survivor.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. Chris Condra?
Here in St. Louis, I think this is our 6th year. However long you've been doing it in St. Louis, we've been doing it one less year. That's all I know. I'm a 6-year AA3 survivor. Last year we had a huge team, which was awesome. So hopefully we'll have a huge team again this year. Something that we did last year to raise money was the gym that I go to. It's a small kind of personal training gym. They did an extra workout on a weekend and we raised funds that way. So even if you don't belong to the gym, we charge $10 for you to come and work out, and all the money went to Head for the Cure.
Awesome.
Yeah, so looking forward to it. I didn't say it, my team is Condors Crushers.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Megan?
Hi. My name is Megan Sauer. My team, last year was my first year that I made my own team. This will be the 3rd year of my participation. My team's name is King of Kings, based out of my church. Last year, my church had a lot of different members with different brain cancer episodes going on. So we made a team. I'm from Detroit, so participating in that city, and I'm a 3-year survivor of oligodendroglioma.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Harold?
Yes, I'm Harold Fry, and I head up the J. Fry team. This will be our 13th year. We lost our son to an oligodendroglioma in 2008. And somewhere behind me, we also have a foundation that we started in his memory because he was a band director, starting to be a band director. And we have collected and donated over 2,600 instruments to students around the world and 500 guitars to traumatically injured soldiers. So that we do that while we're not working with HFTC.
That's awesome. Thank you, Harold. Jenny?
Hi, I'm Jenny Williams. I live around Chicago, so I participate in the Chicago event up here. And I also drive down to St. Louis to participate in that event because my siblings live down there. I am a 12-year survivor of an anaplastic oligodendroglioma. I lost my dad to an oligo in 2015. And so thus me and my siblings started a team called the Oligo Warriors. So that's my team here in Chicago and in St. Louis. I'm also a Head for the Cure ambassador. And I love penguins. If you can.
That's perfect. Thank you, Ginny. Melinda?
Hi, I'm Melinda. This will be my first year participating in Head for the Cure. My team is called Live for the Day, and did I say I'm from Pittsburgh? I forget what I said already. But yeah, so I started a team because my dad passed away last year, and so I'm just trying to participate a lot in more brain cancer awareness and fundraising and stuff. So thanks. I'm looking forward to this Zoom meeting.
Thanks, Melinda. Okay. Annette? Uh-oh, Annette, I think you're on mute.
I thought I had unmuted myself. Sorry. My name is Annette DeGreef. I am in St. Louis and with Team Annette. And this will be our fifth year. I am I am a just past 4-year survivor of a grade 4 glioblastoma. And we're, you know, with all this other stuff going on, we're struggling trying to get the momentum that we have had in the past couple of years. I'm sure it'll get there. It's just taking a little bit longer. You know, everybody's worried about the COVID and looting and all this other stuff going on now. So it'll get there though. So we look forward to having something positive to do.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Annette. Got Rebecca?
I'm Rebecca. I am team captain for the Alley League. This will be our 2nd year participating in honor of Allie Bear, who lost her fight 3 weeks ago.
Thank you, Rebecca. Christina?
Hi, everyone. I am calling from Michigan and representing my dad and my brother who are not on the call tonight, and also Chris Hippler, who's been super involved in past years. My mom passed away in December from a brain tumor, and our team last year was No Limits, and we walked as that. And Chris Hippler's team has always been Team Kim, and Kim and my mom were friends growing up, and Kim passed away from GBM, I guess less than a year before my mom did. So we're merging our 2 teams to be Team Kim Lizzie in honor of both of them that were childhood friends. So looking forward to a new year and a new way of doing things. And we're based in Detroit, so we were on that call a couple weeks ago and just ready to hit the ground running with ideas.
Perfect. Thank you, Christina. Steve?
Steve Hamilton. Team is Hamilton's Heroes. This is the 1st year for our team, 2nd year that I've participated in the North Texas Head for the Cure. Our son Adam is a 1-year survivor of glioblastoma. The beloved Dr. Marr is his oncologist, and of course Dr. Mickey and Patel was his surgical staff last year that took care of him. So very, very grateful for everything they've done for us. So I'm a rookie trying to figure out how to do this, and I've got to get another 150 some people to catch the UT Southwest team in size, and a whole long ways to go in catching them financially. So that's what I'm hoping to get some ideas on.
Right. Well, I think you can do it, you know, just share all these ideas. That'd be perfect. Thank you, Steve. Joan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. My name is Joan Wall. This is the 1st year participating in doing this. My daughter, Jessica, we're doing it for her, Team Supermom. She is a 1-year survivor of a grade 3 AA. And so I'm trying to just figure out how to get more people involved and do some fundraising. So that's why I am here.
Perfect. Thank you, Joan. Jamie, would you like to say hi? We'll come back to Jamie. Let's see. We've got Melissa.
Hi, my name is Melissa Horn. I'm from South Carolina. This was our first year that we worked with the Charleston group. Reason why it's so important, sorry, got a gator going by. Reason why it's so important for us is my dad was actually diagnosed last May 25th. He actually lost his battle with Leo May 25th of this year. He passed away last week. My sister actually co-captains with me. She's not able to be on the call tonight, but we're definitely wanting some good tips and work on the fundraising.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Chris Campbell.
Hey, I'm Chris Campbell. I'm from Kansas City. And I just want to say, Rebecca and Melissa, I'm sitting here with tears. My love goes out to both of you and your recent losses. And thank you for having the motivation and courage to show up tonight and to channel all of your grief into this amazing organization and the cause. But my heart is just aching for both of you. So I am a 16-year survivor. Sorry, I wish I had a tissue. A 16-year survivor of a grade 2 astrocytoma. So this will be our 17th year of having a team in Kansas City. I've also participated in St. Louis, North Texas, and Chicago. I'm really excited in 2 weeks to share some fundraising tips. Our team, my goal for this year, again, our 17th year, was to hit $500,000 raised over the 17 years. That would require raising $46,000 this year, and then COVID hit, and then, all of the political, racial unrest, and I'm struggling, and you guys are such a source of inspiration to try to figure out how to reach that goal. But I will regroup in 2 weeks from tonight, tell you everything from a family auction in a barn to Pampered Chef and all kinds of other ideas. So I'm looking forward to that, and just thank you guys, because this is a great source of motivation for me to figure out how to adapt to everything that's going on. Love you all.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, thank you. Jamie, would you like to say hi? I see that you're unmuted now.
Yeah, I figured it out.
Perfect, thank you.
So I'm Jamie McDonald. I'm with the Columbia, Missouri, Mid-Missouri run. We can't remember if we've been with it for 8 or 9 years. We are Team Mark. We started it because a friend's husband, and he passed away about 6 years. And we keep doing it in memory and to support his wife and their family.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie. And then last but not least, we've got Dee. So Dee is one of our panelists, along with Lisa. So Dee, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dee Hand. And my brother, Greg Hand, was diagnosed with GBM in January of 2018. Dr. Pierre Boom, who is one of the supporters of Head for the Cure at Cleveland Clinic, introduced us to Head for the Cure and the run, and also another family in Cleveland who also were dealing with brain cancer, had a team called John Strong. And so we thought, well, we could join their team or we could do our own, because we know different people, we might be able to make more money. So we started our own team called the West Enders. And we did the walk in October of 2018, and last year was our second year, 2019. And we learned a lot from one year to another. And I've got everybody that's been there longer than me, I've got your name, rank, and serial number here, because I know every year you learn more and more. So my brother passed on January the 5th.
Thank you, Dee.
Sorry, Dee.
Oh. Well, we will, I think, now dive into some of our questions and get to the idea sharing and the brainstorming portion. So Courtney, if you want to take us off with our first question.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you guys for sharing, your stories and backgrounds. I know it's not easy.
My mom actually passed away from a GBM back in 2016. So I know the pain and I know the struggle that you guys are going through. So, you know, it's really great to see your guys' faces and to know that, you know, we're always here for each other. So for tonight, we kind of want to shift to fundraising, as you guys have heard. It's obviously a big part. So I kind of want to go around, Lisa and Dee, if you guys don't mind speaking first. And then we can go off, everyone else, if you guys just want to raise your hand or, you know, message us, you know, hit your little thumb, you know, print button, you can do that. And we'll kind of get to you afterwards. But we just want to know, what's the main way that you guys fundraise? What have you found successful versus not? You know, Dee, do you want to go first?
Well, I have a marketing plan.
Look at you.
And I'll just highlight, anybody can ask questions if you want to. But my brother and I were both salespeople for our whole career. And so we both took this on with the same attitude as we did our work. And so we created a marketing plan. And the last year's marketing plan, you know, improved, as I said. You learn a lot in a year. So we had corporate sponsors last year. We went to a lot of people that my brother knew in Cleveland who owned their own companies. And we did presentations to them. We had presentation materials. And we asked them if they would like to become a corporate sponsor. And we also did a raffle, which we kind of fell into by accident, but it worked out well. We had a raffle at our booth. I think for those of you that were at the last meeting, we had postcards that were designed by Head for the Cure. We had them printed out locally. And I actually didn't wind up mailing them. I actually handed them out at bars in Cleveland because a lot of people that were good friends of my brother's were computer illiterate. And so I would go into the bar and I would actually hand them the thing, and they couldn't, it's got a URL on it, but I also put on the back how to mail in your contribution. So that was kind of effective also. We had Head for the Cure provided us with the graphics for posters, and we had one bar on the east side where my brother lived and one bar on the west side where we were raised that knew Greg, and we posted those, put those posters up in the bars right in front of the bar itself, so people could just key in on their phone if the information and get their donation while they were having a cold one. We had one of our sponsors, we had pay for our hats, and then we charged for the hats to get the money back to Head for the Cure. So they that was very successful. We charged $15 for the hats, and we had our own logo on the hat, and then we had the brewing company's logo on the back. So they got some advertisement. They put the money up front, and then we got the money back from sales. And I think that's, oh, and then I also had email blast. And so you probably get this too from lots of companies like, I don't know exactly who, but let's say like Crate and Barrel or something. They send out a blast, and if you look at the bottom, it says Constant Contact, which is the company that does them. So I called Constant Contact, and it's very easy to set up your own blast. And they help you a lot. It's really good. And so I did, every other week, I did a blast out that had photographs on it. I have some pictures. So I had a picture of my brother and his wife on the front, and then they could click on the link that would take them directly to donation or sign up for the run. And then I did that every week, and then at the end I sent everybody a thank you note, and I mentioned our sponsors and everything. So the only bad thing was, because it was my second year, I did not know that Head for the Cure also used my stuff from the first year and sent out a blast. So I set my blast up as Constant Contact recommended at, I think, 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday. And at 5 o'clock in the afternoon that Wednesday, the Head for the Cure blast went out to all of the people that were on my list. So they got 2 blasts in 24 hours, which was unfortunate that I didn't know that. So for all new people, if you're going to do anything like that, talk to Head for the Cure before you do it, because
Right.
they will let you know what they're doing and you can coordinate. So if I had had my blast the week before or the week after, it probably wouldn't have been so aggravating. But anyway, it worked out. We got a lot of donations through it, and we got a lot of personal information out to the people we wanted to. So that worked out. So that's my marketing plan.
That's perfect.
spectacular, Dee.
Dee, you know, we're happy. That's what we're here for. So if you have plans like that or need input on things, you can call us or email any of us anytime, and we can make adjustments. And, you know, we're more accessible than ever, I feel like, because I'm just home all the time.
Well, I just wish we would have had this meeting last year. Because the last meeting, when I was finished, I was so excited because everybody has so many good ideas and such great stories about how long they've been, you know, plugging along with this. And it really, it's a very, very nice thing to do, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dee. We appreciate you attending for sure. Lisa, do you want to talk about how you fundraise in both markets?
Yeah, that was great. Mine is not going to be as formal, but yeah, I participate in the St. Louis race as well. That's where all of my family is. So I was diagnosed when I was in college. So my first year doing Head for the Cure was really just with my family. One of the summers I was home from college. And so it kind of just started small like that. And then once I graduated, now I'm a teacher. So I work in a pretty big school. We have about 650 kids. So that means we have about 40 to 50 people working in our school. And so we're all really close because we spend all day, every day together. So this past year, I had almost everyone from my building participating on my team. So that's kind of been my like main fundraising thing, is really just getting people into the like race with me. I think it's also super helpful that they like personally know me and they personally know my story, and I'm pretty open about all of that. So if you know me, you'll probably know the whole story. And so that kind of pulls people in, I think, a little bit more than just like asking for a donation. And then as that's gone on, like my brother's friend, you know, they see him running the race. They're like, oh, well, we want to join this year. Like kind of friends of friends have kind of gotten on board now too. And I'm at the age where a lot of my friends are getting married. So then spouses join in. So really just getting people to participate in the race has been like my main thing, because we go to St. Louis and my family does it. So they're able to donate and participate there. And then here's more of like Kansas City here is more of like my friends and coworkers. And I also do the bike race every year. So I have people who join me on that and raise money that way. And my MRI, my 6-month MRI actually falls like a month before the Kansas City race, which is convenient because when I post about that, it's a good reminder for people. It reminds them about the race and the cause and everything. And so I get people to join in that way too. So yeah, I would say probably just really like pumping people up for the race and for the fun has been a little more successful for me than just asking for like a blanket donation.
Lisa, I have a question for you. When you're sharing, you know, the race information with your colleagues at work, are you doing that like via social media, email, posters, like in the break room? How do you go about recruiting your team members that way? And is it the same way that you recruit like your friends, you know, here locally?
Yeah, I would probably say social media is what I do mostly. Also, it's helpful that I'm an ambassador too, because a lot of my friends and family like see those posts as well. So at school, we have like a school Facebook group that I'll post in, but also pretty much just word of mouth at school. Like once somebody signs up, then somebody else signs up. And so I would say, yeah, most likely social media, and then email is helpful for my family, for some of my like aunts and uncles and people who don't have like a lot of social media. So yeah.
Steve? Oh, you're on mute.
I am? No, I'm that aunt or that uncle.
Perfect. Anyone else have questions regarding any of that for Lisa or Dee? Dee, I have a question for you in regards to all of your marketing campaign, which is fantastic. Did you ever get turned away from people? Did people say no, or companies say no to you, or you know, how did you handle that?
Well, actually, no one turned us away because they were all people that my brother knew.
Okay.
But a lot of people, we used, I forgot to say, we used the regular Head for the Cure becoming a sponsor. And I printed it out and I put it in the plastic and everything. And, you know, we did our presentation, and a lot of people said they would participate, but they didn't. You know, they have to fill out the form and send the check in, and they didn't. But we got 6 corporate sponsors. And Great Lakes Brewing Company, you know, as I said, they paid for all the hats, just straight to the hat company. And then we collected the money back. But the people, you know, we knew all the people. We weren't cold calling.
That's awesome. And just so everyone knows, we have those sponsorship packets for every one of our races. So if that's something that you would like to have to hand out on your own and to also distribute, we're more than happy to make sure that that gets in your hands. So
yeah, it's on the website. It's on the website. You can download it.
Perfect.
So yeah, that was pretty convenient. But you know, my brother's gone now, and I live in San Francisco, so I don't have the same contacts as he does. I will go back to the same people, but it's going to be hard for me to expand that, you know, because my brother was the mayor of Cleveland. You're one of those guys, you know. So anyway.
Annette?
Do we still have access to the postcards that Dee talked about? Do you guys have those, or are you going to make them?
They were actually, they were designed at my request. So I said, what I'd like to do is a postcard, and Head for the Cure designed this postcard for me. So they either have a template or they created a template, but it wasn't something that they had in the back drawer and they pulled it out.
Right. No, I understand that. I just didn't know if we had access to do that same thing too.
Yes.
If they had that template.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Absolutely.
100%.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice. And for people who could mail them, I mean, they're great to mail too. I just didn't use them like that, but it's a very nice little piece.
That is, I'd like to have access to that if you can tell us how to do that, or you know, how to get to those.
I remember getting like some flyers or something from a kickoff event last year, and I just passed them out to coworkers.
Mm-hmm. We can do the same thing. You know, we could have the like a template for postcards where if you want to, and Kaylin, maybe you can help me out with this, but where it could be where they could print it off themselves, or if we wanted to get a certain amount, I'm sure we could do that and then ship them to you all. Is that right, Kaylin?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, perfect. I was like, Kaylin does our design work, so that would be her designing that postcard.
Yeah. And what I would say, Kaylin, if you send people these templates, if you could tell them what to print it on, because we had to make it smaller at the print place.
Print shop, yeah.
so that it would so we could fit 4 on a page, so it would be more economical. So those are kind of things to think about if you're not a professional printer, which I'm not. I just, just to pay attention to how many you can get on a sheet.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's definitely something that we can try to get for every event for sure. Nice design work, Kaylin. Thank you, Dee. Lisa, do you have any stories of something that hasn't worked out in the past? What's been unsuccessful in terms of campaigning or just raising funds in general?
I would say probably at the beginning, I'm trying to think of how to word this. I feel like at the beginning, maybe I kind of just started with Head for the Cure more as like a 5K. I like love to run and be active. And so I was like, oh, this is great. Like I had a brain tumor, like I can run this. And then as the years have gone on, I've kind of gotten more into that advocacy role. So I think in the beginning, I guess I didn't really like ask people, I didn't really like kind of make it known that like you should donate, you should sign up and run. And it's one of those things where if you don't ask, the only thing they can say is no. And so now I've gotten a lot better at, still being like respectful and things, but like just kind of asking more for those donations and for signing up and why it's important. And for me personally, I don't know if it's just like my Facebook friends or whatever, but when I do like those donation things, like those don't always work well for me. So I have gotten better luck through like the actual races and things like, merchandise and things like that than just like putting a donation thing on my Facebook. So
that's great. Jenny?
And to that note, as far as like merchandise and all that, so I'm also a graphic designer. Hi, Kaylin. But I've designed Oligo Warriors t-shirts, and then I like put up a little flyer at my work and say, hey, everyone, you want a t-shirt I designed, donate and buy it through Custom Ink. And then I had Head for the Cure as the, it was through their fundraising tool and Custom Ink. And they put the proceeds to Head for the Cure. And that was fairly successful last year for me. This year, I've actually found a way that I can like make little like fingernail designs. One of them will be like a little brain print, and they'll be gray. And I want to, there's a company called Color Street, and I want to have Head for the Cure be a beneficiary of these designs that I can make of, for pretty nails.
That's so unique. I like that a lot. Awesome. Rhonda?
The therapy gym place that I've gone to for therapy for the last 3 or 4 years, and worked with a physical therapist there. They decided to support my team and actually became a sponsor. And last year, I think he had all the gym members come in for an open house, their regular open house, but he had me share my story that night to all the members regular members at the gym. So got familiar with them. And then he also gave me the opportunity to share my story at his local business group, which was businesses from all local businesses. And at that group was one of the marketing people for Hendrick Lexus. And she was moved by my story and connected the Kansas City group up with Hendrick Lexus. So they brought a car to auction off the Drive a Lexus for the weekend that we rained out. We did sell some raffle tickets ahead of time and a few that morning. So that was a way to fundraise that way. But Hendrick Lexus allowed me to come and speak, share my story at their company luncheon. And we signed up members, had a computer ready to sign up members at that luncheon. And I don't remember if we had 50 to 80 members from Hendrick Lexus that came out for the first time for the rain out, but they had a great time. You know, we had an hour or so before it rained out and just promoting and getting to know, and they got a chance to see what it's like to support, you know, Head for the Cure and the camaraderie. And even in that short amount of time, there was a lot of hope shared. So that's just kind of a different route that I fell into last year. God blessed me with that opportunity, and we'll see if it happens again this year. You know, if there's still, with the virtual, I don't know how that will work out, but just thinking a different route there.
Thank you, Rhonda. Okay. All right. So Dee, I want to ask you another question. Obviously, with your sales background, it seems like you were comfortable with, you know, pitching to anyone and everyone. Do you have any special tips for anyone that isn't comfortable doing that?
Well, I think if you have a presentation, you know, and you use the materials that are provided by Head for the Cure, and then you just kind of practice your little, what they call elevator speech. You know, you don't want to bore people to death, but you know, you just have to have an organized speech. And the same thing with the as I said, I fell into the raffle because I was dealing with Crate and Barrel. I bought a couch from them, and the couch got lost twice, and it took like 6 months for me to get the couch. And I wasn't angry about it. I was in Cleveland half the time, so I didn't really care. But they felt bad about it. And the gal said, I explained why I was in Cleveland, and she said, "Oh, could we give you something to make up for it in the case of a raffle?" And I said, "Oh, sure." And she gave me this magnificent, like $500 package of Crate and Barrel goods. But I thought, you know, why just settle for one thing, you know? So then I started going to people that I kind of knew, like the place where I got my hair cut in Cleveland, the place where I got my nails done in Cleveland, the place where I buy all my candy in Cleveland. And I just went to places where people kind of knew me, and I said, you know, we're having this raffle at this big event, and I was wondering if you would like to participate. And you know, people gave me, you know, the hairdresser gave me, you know, a bag of products, and I just kind of made the bag look prettier and was part of the raffle. So I think that sometimes it's easier than you think. All you have to do is ask, and you know, people will either play or not play, you know, but they won't do anything if you don't ask.
I completely agree. You know, with especially, you know, for going to people you don't know, that it's always a hard thing. And, you know, people you know, I think it's even harder sometimes. But, you know, that goes to show that people are out there to help. You know, we had a similar fundraiser for my mom at her favorite wine store. So she liked wine a lot. So we were able to do that, which was really, really fun. So, but yeah, that's a great way of kind of explaining it, Dee. We appreciate that. Lisa, you kind of talked about your personal points a little bit. Have you ever reached out to anyone outside of your network per se, or has it mostly been, you know, with the school and your family and friends?
Yeah, I would say right now it's more so been like school and my family and friends. I know at the kickoff actually that I had grabbed a lot of those flyers and things, and so I had some hopes for this year, and not that those are not necessarily going to happen, but it's just going to be a little different this year with it being virtual. But yeah, I right now have mostly just stayed within that kind of group. And the nice thing though about kind of teaching community is that like everybody kind of knows everybody. So I have a really big school district, and so I know people now that work in different schools, and so that's kind of branched out to still kind of in my community, but there's 37 elementary schools in my district, and I probably know somebody in each one. So it's kind of branching out that way a little bit.
I lost the picture, and I have been having some problem with Zoom today. If anybody can give me some hints on how I might be able to get the picture back.
Uh-oh, I'm bad at it. We can hear you and see you, Dee.
Oh,
Can
you
see
can
us?
see me.
Yes.
I moved into another room. I thought maybe it was a connection, but I can't see anything except the Zoom page, and I can't figure out what to do. I don't want to relaunch.
Oh, are you, what operating system are you running?
Oh, I'm testing Microsoft today, which is, I usually use my iPad, but you can only see 8 people on the iPad. So I went to my computer, and it's not as easy as using your iPad. Anyway, if it's okay, you can just keep going. I don't want to interrupt the meeting, but I just wondered if anybody would say, oh yeah, just press this button.
Usually along the bottom, there's like all your icons, maybe not on
No,
Microsoft.
I'm not even there. I'm on the Zoom page. It just blanked out.
Because I think what you need to get back to is there's a little video icon typically, like on a Mac computer, there's a little video icon.
Right. The
For
app
Zoom,
icon.
that's separate.
Yeah, that's on the main thing, but I'm at the Zoom white page that says when the system dialog prompts, click open. I'm way back.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of maybe the other page disappeared. Sometimes you can toggle between the two.
So on a Mac, with what's at the bottom is called a dock, and on the PC, I think there's a little bottom.
I got it.
Yeah.
Went to the dock. Thank you. Duh.
Fixed it. Good. So my next question is for everybody. So how do you cast kind of a wide net and get people involved outside of your friends and family or coworkers? Or have you done that before? You know, what is your story with that? Just so others can kind of get to know, you know, how to reach past that limit per se.
Here, Courtney, I'll jump in. Lisa, I know you said you didn't have a great experience like fundraising via Facebook, but I kind of look at it as a numbers game. Through your participant center, you can launch a Facebook fundraiser that's connected to your personal fundraising. And I just kind of view it as, I have a lot more Facebook friends than I have, emails or cell phone numbers for. So if it's out there and I, kind of continue to post on it, people will see it, and I think that's a way to kind of, allow it to be, shared by, potentially people outside your friend list. So people spend a lot of time online, and I think it's a good way to just kind of build that bridge to maybe a broader community. So that's kind of a staple of fundraising on my team here in Kansas City. So just an option for everyone that's available.
So Brian, that's an option that's easy to do, and whether it's successful or not, if you just keep doing it, you can maybe grow some.
Yeah, it's a free to. That's a great question. It's just a one-click through your participant center to get that live on Facebook. So yeah, it's usually I try to set a reasonable goal. And, from my experience, it usually surpasses it, just because you may, a friend from high school or, college, may see it and, maybe just, out of goodwill, may, reconnect with a small donation. So I think it's just a good tool in the kit in order to, in conjunction with others.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that. Dee.
Yeah, I'm anti-Facebook, and so my brother had a Facebook page. So the last September, the last month before the run, I did go on his Facebook page and post some things, but I wasn't really familiar of how to use it properly and how to get the most out of it. So this year, I'm on Facebook. So now I've got to figure it out. But I think it is, from just what people tell me, it is really an excellent place to get the word out. So I threw in the rag. I'm going to do it.
to be honest, for our team, last year we did walk and our mom walked with us, but we kept it a pretty small effort, partly because it was a bit of a decline for her health at the time, and we weren't sure if we were going to be there with her or not, and we just didn't have really the energy and time, and it was a little uncertain time, so we didn't do a huge effort. So I'm not super familiar with like some of the templates and whatnot. I did use like the toolkit and whatnot to send all of our emails to those that we recruited, but is there any sort of like line or writing in any of the templates that kind of says like, if you're moved by this story and this team and interested in sharing to expand the effort or encourage others to join or whatnot? Because in my mind, an easy way, such as, I mean, Facebook and social media is obviously a pretty simple way to reach a lot of people quickly, but if you have a group that you're communicating with via email and you're just asking those people to then reach out to their 10 people or whatnot, that's probably, you know, whether people go and actually do that, I'm not sure, but like I can think of, for example, my mom's family, she comes from 8 siblings. So the siblings that are still living, I can see them, they're all across the country, and I can see them sending it to their friends. And so, you know, saying my sister passed away from a brain tumor, you know, would love to have you participate in this. So I didn't know if that's something you would just customize and write in on your own, or do any of the templates actually like have a line that says something similar to that?
We do have something similar, Kelsey. Right, we definitely have things similar. I don't know off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've looked at those templates, but to know if we have something that's that specific of a call out, but we can definitely make sure that we have one. You know, we've been sharing kind of templates for team captains, you know, inquiring about fundraising and donations and registrations during this crazy time we're all experiencing, so we can make sure it's included in that as well. And then as soon as that sort of updated, we can make sure to push that out to people and say, by the way, there's some new templates in the system for you to use. So that's a great point.
Cool, because I mean, there's a way more eloquent way to write that. That's just like speaking off the cuff, obviously, and I'm happy to just write it in for our team, but that might be a way that people would reach more people.
Be helpful for sure. That's a great idea.
Are you talking about templates in the participant center, Kelsey?
Yes. Yep, and we did actually kind of update the interface on that if you guys haven't looked recently. So there, you can still definitely do it. It looks nice now, nice and refreshing. So if you guys have any questions regarding that, please reach out to any of us.
I think Lisa had her hand raised earlier. Did you, Lisa?
I almost forgot.
You're welcome.
I was thinking about some of the give back nights that we did last year, whenever I know like one was at like Chipotle. And if I remember correctly, you had to like mention it, like I think you gave them something or mentioned like Head for the Cure, and the, you know, proceeds, some of them went there. So when I was at Chipotle, like that was a great way because I got friends to go with me, and like it was easy to tell people like, hey, just pick it up, like, you know, on your way home from work or whatnot. But while I was eating there with my friends, like we would tell people at the door, you know, in case they didn't know. So that was like getting out of my like network.
I like that. Thank you for doing that, Lisa. All right. So one more question for a couple more questions in the essence of time. So Dee and Lisa, what is one piece of advice you would give to the new team captains or people returning maybe for the second year? Dee?
Well, I would say, you know, we're in better shape this year than ever for that. Not for a lot of things we're not, but for that we're in good shape. And I think that having a good communication with Head for the Cure is really important, and you know, being, you know, connecting with your team there, because there are so many things they can do. And like I said, I didn't realize that they were going to send a blast to all the people on my spreadsheet. And had I known that, I could have worked with them. But that would be the only thing. I think I've gotten so many ideas from all of you in the last 2 meetings. I've got pages of ideas. So I think this is really the best, the best thing, really.
Thank you, Dee. Lisa.
I would say for this year, kind of like what Dee was saying, like this is a unique opportunity. But I know that a lot of the people on my team this year are even more like motivated just because they're curious, like what's going to happen? Is this still happening? And so they've already been reaching out like ways they can help or donate. And so I think a lot of people during this time are just looking like for something good, for something they can do that's helpful. And so I think this year would just be a great year to really like reach out to people who have been on your team or maybe people who you were going to ask to be on your team. And then I think just really like not putting a lot of pressure on yourself to like raise tons and tons of money and have this huge team and everything. Like just start small and like just keep building it up and it'll like get there as you keep going.
Awesome. Annette, did you have your hand up for the last question? Oh, I think
Annette,
you're muted. You're muted. Sorry.
Didn't want you guys hearing my dog barking. And is anybody from Head for the Cure taking minutes that you could send us out minutes from this meeting?
So I haven't taken minutes, but I did. So we sent out just kind of a recap with the some like takeaways to team captains after last week's meeting. But and then we posted to YouTube. So we've kind of just done a summary of it that we share with people, just kind of highlighting some ideas. And then if they want to, get more of the specifics on it, this will be available on YouTube for them to pop in and say, oh, okay, I can find out exactly how it happened here.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Perfect. Well, I think that's all of the questions that we had. I know we're going over a few minutes, but does anybody have any questions just for the good of the group or to our panelists or any comments that they'd like to share before we take off? Yeah, Mario?
Hi. If it was possible, I think that we should share with each other all of the ideas that work. Dee, of course, you're awesome. I come from the sales field, and I appreciate your persistence, determination, and attitude. And I think that that's what it takes. We know what we're asking for money, so there's no shame in it. And we certainly shouldn't be embarrassed. But Dee, if you could share all your ideas, it would be phenomenal. I think that we should share ideas that work and then share ideas that don't work so that we don't make mistakes. Mm-hmm. We just put it all together. I think that we can work from the Head for the Cure end. Perhaps Brian, I know he could take out 5 minutes of his busy day, but maybe we could develop some kind of a social media strategy that we could share with everybody. Not everybody is a Brian, and not all of us know how to navigate social media, but maybe that could help from our end. And again, we'll try to make more ideas to share with everyone, but if you guys can share yours. Christina, you asked a great question. I think that we should add that to what we offer. And everybody has been great. All the ideas are good, even the ones that don't work, so that we know what not mistakes to make. It shortens time. Jenna, your idea about selling the T-shirts is phenomenal. And I took some ideas. I wrote some things down, and perhaps we can all share with each other and also share with the community of Head for the Cure in general. I think it will be very helpful. So thank you again. Thank you.
Absolutely. Dee?
I sent a copy of my marketing plan to Kelsey so that she could distribute it to anybody who wanted it. And there's also a photograph of my booth, which has 2 banners, one for the raffle and one for the hat sales. So you can see how that looked.
Oh, well, thank you, Dee.
And regarding, thank you, Mario, for suggesting help with social. It's not what I did when I was working, so I'm not there. I have, old-fashioned marketing techniques. So if the people who are really good at social marketing or social media of any type, even if you're not marketing, if maybe we could do a side group and I could learn something from you, I would really appreciate that. I think that's kind of the best way to go this year.
Right. We could definitely, we've talked internally about having like a how-to and tips and things to reference, but we could definitely make one of those meetings, like one of these meetings, that where we just focus on that. That's what these are for, just whatever we really need. So real quick, Melissa, I know you raised your hand. I wanted to make sure we didn't miss you.
It was just a very quick question, and here I am messing with my phone. Charleston is in February. So is there like a specific time as far as like what month we can start signing people up for next year, or kind of how does that work? I just wasn't that sure about that part.
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically we try to have registration open 6 or 7 months before the event. Right now we're still accepting donations for the 2020 event. And so we're working, Kaylin is working on getting a date solidified for 2021 for Charleston. And so as soon as the event is live and our date solidified and we have everything set up for registration, we'll be sure to send out an email to everybody, first to team captains, letting them know that it's ready, and then to save the date and that registration is open. So we are gunning for it.
Perfect. We have a lot of people that are excited. So just wanted to kind of let them know what we were looking at. So thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely. Mario?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that Dee, besides your marketing plan, and sometimes a marketing plan comes in the written form, but if you could add to that pictures or PDFs of your, let's say your presentation, the postcard that you did, some of the posters that you put up, because visuals are also very important for all of us. A picture says 1,000 words. So, a lot of the visuals that you did would be very helpful if you could share them as well.
And they all came from Head for the Cure. So Lisa should be able to dig back and get that. So Lisa or someone at Head for the Cure designed the poster.
That's great.
They sent me the PDF and I had it printed in Cleveland, poster size. Then they created the postcard for me and sent me the PDF and I had that printed. The presentation, Becoming a Sponsor, is from the website. I just printed it out. Great. And it's got a page on the back that you fill out and send in. And I just put on the page Team West End. So maybe we could do something about the presentation for this. Maybe we could have some just back pages printed that had, that look more professional for your individual team. That would be the only thing. But I just wrote it in. It was fine.
And your poster and the poster that you hung up on some of the bars?
That came from Head for the Cure. I had it printed, but it was designed by Head for the Cure.
Right. And so a lot of for all of our events, and you can most of the time get them at kickoffs, is where we distribute them for the large event posters and the smaller, what we call reg cards. And then moving forward, we will have postcards as well with that. But those are also available upon request. So we have some printed, and then if, funding isn't there for printing, we're happy to share the PDF version for people to print on their own or share via PDF. Laura, I know you wanted to chime in. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say a little bit ago in response to Mario's comment of sharing things that don't work. Share things that don't work because they might work for someone else. If it might not have worked for you, but someone else might have an idea to do something slightly different, or it might just work better for them for their team or in their city. So no idea is a bad idea. I say that loosely.
And just to clear up, Kelsey, the difference between your posters and the posters that were designed specifically for me, my posters said West Enders on it. My postcard said West Enders on it. So everything came to my team because no one had to then remember what the team name was or whatever. It went directly into my team. So that's, you wouldn't want a generic poster.
And that's easy for us to do as well.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Melinda?
So thanks, Laura, for mentioning that because I had the same thought. Also, in terms of printing, if you does Head for the Cure have like maybe like a discount code or like a partnership with a printer so that we can, if I were to purchase it myself, would it be cheaper? Like, I mean, I'm fine paying full price. I didn't know if there's just like a better place to go that you recommend. If not, then I can just look up local places.
I went to Kinko for everything.
That's a great question, Melinda. And that's something, you know, that I don't think I've been asked before. So that is great. But that is something that I'm happy, and correct me if anybody Head for the Cure staff has an answer for that. But that's something that I want to ask Jenna, our executive director, about. Yeah, absolutely. Rhonda?
Just with the flyers that we get at the kickoff, what I've done in the past is just do labels with my team name and the information on that and just stick them on there, you know, rather than printing something specific. I've just put, you know, created some labels and stuck them on there.
That's a great idea, Rhonda. Yeah, absolutely. Christina?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Okay. With regard to all the printing of like posters and postcards and flyers and whatnot, is there a spot, again, forgive me because I haven't spent a ton of time in the actual website and looking at stuff, but is there a way that what you're building, or is there a spot where you can just build it as a template where people can actually, maybe you don't share it as a PDF, but share it as an actual document that people can either input, just enter their team name in the location where it says team name, and then enter the race information in the space where it says race, and people can kind of take the template and build their own from there if they're willing to print, or partly too because there may be less printing actually happening this year with how virtual things are going to be. So then you could share that stuff online or send it to people or whatnot. So I just didn't know if there's actual like images or posters or flyers already kind of set, or, you know, things that are prepped as Instagram like square size that would have generic information that then you could just type in and use to share. Like if there was a folder where all that gets dumped and you can use it as a resource.
I love that for sure. And that's definitely something, because we have shared just like where it's not you're not able to edit it, the posters, and so you can download, but we're actually, and Allie is working on, you know, a plan for how we can have a template where you just plug it in yourself and different things. And so we're talking about like trying to organize, you know, walks in your own neighborhood that are socially distanced and, you know, different things. And so that could definitely be something that we also incorporate. Like, this is a good Instagram post, you know, to pull
that would be awesome.
Make your own.
I know it's not easy because not everybody necessarily uses the same, you know, different software, and it's not like everybody's using Word or everybody's using Illustrator or whatnot. So I realize that's a bit of a task for you guys, but if there was a folder where people could just access things and take the Head for the Cure template for a variety of different marketing pieces and then just update based on their team name or their walk, or like on the Detroit call, we also talked about organizing, you know, your own little things separate from race day that are either gatherings or people doing individual, you know, little 5Ks on a Saturday morning, and kind of getting some buzz going around that. So that, if it doesn't happen right away, that's totally understandable. I know it's a big thing, but it could be really ease your load a little bit if there were just what people could then kind of do on their own.
Right. That's great, Christina. And that's something that we will definitely, try to get the ball rolling to get available to everybody. I will say until that is, readily available, the best person to contact is the regional relationship coordinator. Maddie's over there smiling because she knows, because they're able to personalize, and really they can to do it on a one-on-one basis for now and give you on whatever software you're using, and they can give it to you in that format. And that's just for the time being until we figure out a way to have that shared folder. So yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Maddie's excited now.
She's
Jenny,
like,
I know
oh,
you
no.
had your I know you had your hand up. Sorry.
Well, no, so I just put it in the chat, but as a graphic designer, all the time I make editable PDFs. And so where you put little forms, and if someone has Acrobat, they can just click on the little form and then you just type in the thing, and it can be in an embedded font. So it looks like it was designed by Head for the Cure, but then you just kind of type it in. It's kind of cool. I'm sure Kaylin knows about that too, but that's just something that I've done for as my job. So
that would be cool to look into for sure. I usually I don't use a lot of with Acrobat. I usually use more like Illustrator, InDesign. But I would be happy to get more acquainted with it.
Yeah, and I'm happy to. If I know a lot of you are not maybe technically savvy or designers, but I'm happy to let you know, Kaylin, if you would like to connect more directly, I can give you some techniques. I've been doing it for over 15 years. So
no, that would be great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jenny. All right. Well, I know we've gone over in time, and I'd like to be respectful. Mario?
So 1 minute. And of course, I always have a lot to say, but I want to leave you with a thought. If you think of yourself as a commissioned salesperson, you're going to become very successful. That's what really it's all about. Every dollar that you get, you think of yourself as getting 10% on it, and then you'll be able to make the sale. One more thing that I want to add, and it worked for me. And if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. It's always good to ask a person if they're willing to become a fundraiser. Some people just like to donate, but some people like to get involved. And if you could turn the people that donate into fundraisers, that just multiplies the dollars that come in. Just a thought.
No, that's a great point, Mario.
Yes.
That's perfect. Well, yep, Drew.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that has been participating. For me personally, because I don't get to a lot of the events, it's nice to see old friends. It's good to see some of the new friends I made on calls, and I especially wanted to give a shout out to Melissa and Christina, because we have emailed back and forth a lot, but not actually ever met in person. So it's just nice to see you all on here.
Same.
I was so excited to see your face, and you have been amazing over this last week. So thank you so much. Thank you all for what you do.
My pleasure.
Perfect. Well, I guess I had wrap up things I was going to say, but I can't remember what they were now. But I think this time, so what I'll do is I'll send a follow-up email to everybody who attended, and I'll be sure to attach, and I'll list, some of the talking points that we had and some of the ideas. I'll be sure to attach Dee's information that she sent over so I can share that with you all as well. Maybe some helpful links. Maybe by Friday we'll have some new, material that could be a resource for everybody. And so be on the lookout for that email. And if everyone's okay with it, I'll carbon copy everyone so you can reply all if you do want to, find that as a resource to share ideas through that email thread. So we can definitely do that as well. So be on the lookout for that. But otherwise, this was amazing. Lots of good ideas passed around, lots of good energy, fueling our fight against everything, against this disease and everything going on. So I just thank you all so much for being here and being a part of it and doing what you all do. So, and we'll see you again 2 weeks from today. And Chris, she's going to be one of our panelists. So very exciting. So I think that's it. I will leave you all with that. But thank you again, and reach out if you have any questions, concerns. But otherwise, I hope we see your faces in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you guys.